What's going on, everybody? Welcome to IndieQuest, the celebration of the indie and obscure. I'm one of your hosts today, Josh, and I'm joined by one of my awesome co-hosts, Steve. How's it going?
Going fantastic. Happy to be doing this episode, which has long been promised and or threatened, depending on how much you enjoy the show. So, yeah, looking forward to it.
Awesome. We're also joined by the captain himself, Captain Drachma. How's it going, Seth?
It's going good. Had a wedding to go to last night, so it was a bit of a late night there, but woke up, recovered, ready to talk about Hades.
And we have a special guest today, our buddy Ross from the Polymedia Discord. How's it going? The Hades expert himself.
I'm not much of an expert, but I have played a number of hours. Hey, how's it going? Glad to be here.
Yeah, you said you were bragging about your number before the episode here, and we're just all like, yeah, just that number. How many hours have you played in Hades? Let them know at the top here.
Like 300 hours between Switch, PlayStation, and Steam.
I do specifically remember, Ross, a few years ago now, there being a time when you were like, I don't know if you had already had all the achievements, but I remember you doing like the toughest, hardest heat runs, and you were like posting videos in Discord about
that was 2022, and for like I put a challenge to myself to like a bunch of things in this game, and like one of them was like 32 heat with all the weapons, and I was like, oh, okay, that's a pretty good accomplishment. And then LHC Greg came back and did like a 35 heat run or 36 or something, and then like that bolstered me to have to one-up him, and eventually I did get 40 heat run finished. So
Dang.
yeah. But that's there's a bunch of other things I did with that challenge. It was fun. Got really into it.
Heck yeah. We'll talk about heat here in a little bit, I suppose. We don't want to go too in depth on heat before we actually start talking about the game.
Yeah, for folks that maybe have never experienced Hades or have forgotten Hades, whatever your experience level with Hades is, the way that I would say this will probably go is we will save any strict story spoilers for the back half of the show and give you a little bit of a warning before we get into them. So if you don't want like the full end-to-end narrative spoiled for you, you'll have a little bit of a heads up to head out early and leave us a 5-star rating while you're doing it. But between now and then, I would say we'll be discussing a lot of mechanics that one could consider spoilers. We'll leave a lot of the story stuff out, but it's very difficult to talk about the game without talking about a lot of the systems that unlock as you go along and play. And so if you're sensitive to more mechanical spoilers and you've never played the game, this might be one to just leave in your download playlist and come back in a month or so after you've had some time with the game. But otherwise, if you have enjoyed the game or if you don't care about spoilers, enjoy.
Awesome. I guess we can start off with what is Hades. This is a continuation of our SuperGiant games, review series. So eventually we'll get to Hades 2. That'll be a thing. So we'll threaten that for a while before we get there, and we all finally play it. Because I know I've dabbled. I don't know if you guys have played much Hades 2. I'm sure Ross has been neck deep in it, or is that
I haven't played the full release yet. I did early access and put like 40, 50 hours in, and kind of got to the end of what they released, and then I was like, okay, I'm good, and then like it released 1.0, and I have not gone back to it yet, but it's gonna happen. It might happen soon, actually, now that I played Hades again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
hell yeah,
there we go.
All right, well, Hades is, it's the godlike roguelike from SuperGiant Games. Defy the god of the dead as you hack and slash your way out of the underworld in this roguelike dungeon crawler from the creators of Bastion, Transistor, Empire. Everybody knows what Hades is at this point, I'm sure. But if you didn't know what it is, that's a very good, basic description of it. There's a lot more to it than that. And it is, do you want to talk about what it looks like and sounds like first, kind of the presentation of it, I guess would be the best way to start.
Yeah.
I think before even that, I'd be curious to know everyone's history with the game.
History, yeah.
Did you play it on launch? Have you put in only 300 hours, like some sort of pleb, that type of deal. I also, even before we get into that, I think it's funny in that description, which I think probably came from the Steam page. It's so funny them trying to sell you Hades, being like, it's from the people that made Pyre and Transistor, those famous games that everybody loves. So please try this one out.
Yeah. Oh, well, I guess, Steve, what's your history with Hades then? And we'll just go around the table here.
I played it, I would say, I played it all the way through. I saw, the proper ending and everything when it came out. So it came out September 17th, 2020. I played it within that first week. I was, very much anticipating it. And it was really hard. If you were back there in 2020, it was very hard to avoid the buzz for this game. Everyone was very excited about it. This was sort of like an Elden Ring, or every so often these games come around where there's a near universal consensus that this is going to be the public opinion game of the year. So it was really hard to not check it out when you're following along with news at the time. Yeah, I finished it up then, probably put 40, 50 hours into it there, and then I didn't play it again for several years, but my wife got really into this game, and she has played more than I have. She just, big love for this one. And so I watched her play probably double that. And then just last year I went back and finally, because I'd played it on the Switch version originally, I finally went back and bought the PlayStation version and played another 50 or so hours to get the platinum there. So all in, I'm 120 hours into a couple different versions, and I've probably watched that much separate of that. So what about you, Josh?
I'm probably going to have the least experience to everybody here. I did play through this game to the first. So, I guess that's loose spoilers. That, if you get through a run, that's not the final, credits hit or anything like that. So I did that when it first came out on Game Pass in 2020. So that was 40 attempts or 50 attempts, somewhere around there. And then this time I decided I had a 1 or 2 hour save on my Steam Deck, and I just started over, and I went through all the way through the 10 endings for this today. So, or the 10 playthroughs, or not 10 endings. You guys know what I mean. But yeah, so I got to that credits, and yeah, I'm excited to have a discussion about my experience today. Yeah.
Cool.
Awesome.
My experience was, I actually did not play it on release. I think I played it in probably around 22. It might have been around the time that Ross was playing, and I was like, well, the things that Ross enjoy, I typically also enjoy. So I started playing Hades. I don't remember exactly what the impetus was behind it, but started playing it, enjoyed it a lot, played through it, beat it, and then Ross and I were on a podcast, Cartridge Club, friends of ours. Dean has been on this podcast before. But he and I went on, talked about Hades on Cartridge Club, and for that, I restarted the game and played through it again. So I just
nice.
I've beaten it twice, but I've not gotten super deep. Steve obviously has gone through the game and platinumed it. I have not done that, but I've got probably, I think my Steam account sits at 70 hours or so in Hades. So, and I also want to mention, I don't think we've talked about this up to this point, but Hades is the first one we've done that it is actually already on the quest log. Josh did bring it.
Yeah.
Very early on. So this is kind of a touch up on that. I don't think it's going to change its placement, but a lot more effort has gone into it from multiple sides, I suppose. So it should be interesting.
Yeah, it was during our Game of the Year discussion in 2020. I was I had just recently got through that first area. I was like, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be on the quest log. That's a main quest. I said it in 2 sentences during a Game of the Year. So it's let's actually have that discussion here. So yeah. But yeah, Ross, what's some of your experience? We know you played a lot of it, but what's your experience with the game?
So it was a rocky start for me because I played it on the Switch, came out in 2020. I played it on that and got about 25 runs in and just was getting wrecked. And I was like, I can't beat this game. It's too hard. I put it down.
Yeah.
And then when it released on Xbox, which was a couple years later, or was it? a year later. A year later. Then I saw it in the Discord, and like people were playing it, and then I talked to Steve, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I love this game. I beat this game." And I'm like, "Okay, if Steve can beat it, I could do it."
Exactly. He's a pretend gamer. I get it.
And so I got back in. I was like, it took me like 3 more runs after those 20 some, and I got the first clear, and then I was hooked. From there, it was just played it.
I knew. See,
played it on
you
Switch.
just needed to walk over my corpse.
Yep, got it on Steam, beat it on Steam, and then recently, actually, what I prepared for this one, I opened my PS5 or PS4 copy and started playing that one for the first time. So
heck yeah.
it's been fun.
Nice.
Very cool. So that was like 30-ish runs. I don't know, Josh, Seth, if you remember. Do you know how many runs it was for you? How many failed runs before you hit your first clear? I think it was about 45 for me. So I'm like maybe a third worse than Ross.
I think it was around. So I had played I will say, shit ton of Gungeon before I played Hades. So I was kind of ready for some of that roguelite difficulty, and Hades is nowhere near as hard like out of the gate as Gungeon. It's like more systems heavy. You need to, and we're going to talk about a lot of that, but I think it probably took me like 25 or 30 runs to beat it the first time, but then when Ross and I
want to say you beat it quicker, because I want to say you were like in the teens.
It very well could have been teens. I don't remember, but I do specifically remember the second time, because Ross and I were going back and forth when we went on Cartridge Club about how quickly we could quote unquote speed run it, right? Like how quickly could we get a run beat, and I did it out of the gate in 6, and then Ross, I think I keenly remember Ross beat it in 3.
Yeah, that was part of my challenge. I was like, how many can I get? How low can I go? And I eventually got 3. Yeah.
Wow.
You got to get some rolls. You got to get kind of lucky, because
you got to get some rolls. There's like some speed strats for getting it that quickly, and I was doing the meta.
Yeah.
The first time I played, it was close to 50. I remember that. And then I was just like, man, this game's so... Like, I was struggling. There's a later boss, Theseus, and there's a certain situation there. I was, like, really struggling on that boss. And then eventually I surpassed that boss, got to the next part, and beat Hades once, back in the day. And I was like, I'm good. I'm done. I'm done with this game. This game's so freaking hard. I don't think I need to go through this anymore. I found nowadays, it took me about 34 tries, I think, just restarting it. This time, I already knew the game pretty well, but it's been years, obviously. So I was like, okay, I know the game, and I've played a lot more hard and difficult games since then, and gotten more used to this style of game since then too. So I felt a little more capable, but the game can kick your ass like out of nowhere when you're not expecting it. So that is a very big element of the gameplay here. But yeah, I had a good time going through it this time.
I will say I have like an informal survey in pulling beats for Polykill. I can say it is remarkably common that people do a single run and get it through and then say, all right, I'm good. I'm calling it. I think it's less common than you might expect for people to go like the whole distance and like see the proper credits of the game and whatnot.
Honestly, I can recall just several times of you saying it's one of the biggest like asterisk games that ever comes to Polykill, and you've been like, it's hard enough, it's fine. Like, it's okay. Like,
but I mean, I get it.
Yeah, it's tough, and for I guess the average gamer out there, like if you can beat a run in Hades, that's certainly an accomplishment. It's not an easy game, but if you'd enjoyed your experience up to that point, I'll just say this here: it's so worth beating this game 10 times. Like,
yes,
it is.
It is incredibly worth it. So if anybody out there is listening and hasn't done so, go dust off your save and do that, because it's worth it.
Yeah, it's a fun game to get into the weeds of. Obviously, you can spend a lot of I could see So I have a desire to play Hades 2 now. If I didn't have that desire and Hades 2 wasn't there, I'd probably keep doing runs on this because I kind of got that itch to do more. So I'm probably going to jump to 2 now since I'm like, yeah, this was a lot of fun. I had that full quote unquote full experience. There's still more story I missed out on by not continuing doing runs, but I'm still like, yeah, I'm ready. Let's get into 2. So,
all right, I'm with you. Let's start a thread.
Dude, I'd be down. It's on PlayStation now too, which is super cool.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
as of this
It
year.
is. It's a very easy game to like forever play because it is just remarkably dense with storylines and voice acting. Like you like never hear the same thing twice in this game. I don't know how long they spent in the booth, but you can play this game for 100 hours and still get 100% unique conversations fully voice acted from characters and stuff like that. And that goes well past like the quote unquote conclusion of the story and like calls back to the events of the story. Like it's not just like random stuff that could be inserted anywhere. It truly felt like a game that they seemingly just developed forever and no one has ever actually seen the bottom of yet.
Yeah.
It's crazy because I booted up an old save file for this specifically, and I was like, I understand what the story is because I played it before, but I go and I start talking to characters as they have exclamation points above their head, and I'm giving them ambrosia and stuff like that, and we're going to get into some more of those details. But I almost felt like I was doing the game a disservice by being like, I need to get back to the action. This is specifically for us to talk about it. And skipping through some dialogue because that dialogue is just so chef's kiss. Like, it's so good. So it's like that's not the way. And I actually put, while we're like at the top here, I always do my genre overview type thing for all the games that I ever bring to this show. And I actually called this, it's a top-down action roguelite. But after playing Pyre and like going back and playing Hades is really a visual novel too. It's just sprinkled. It's almost like what you get in Pyre. You get what you get in Pyre in 15 hours, and that is sprinkled across 100 in Hades, right? Which is cool. Like I very much enjoy that experience of having it, here and there and sprinkled. Pyre's great for what it was too. I mean, everybody go listen to that episode, but the story in Pyre is actually kind of similar to what you're getting in Hades, just at over a longer period of time, and more optional, I suppose. You don't have to listen to everything.
Yeah, I mean that's what I've always liked. That's one of my favorite parts about Hades is that it was the first game I ever played that made story the reward for playing the game, but like both a reward for playing the game and like a bit of a salve for losing at the game. You die and you go back, and even Zagreus, the main character, has kind of this like, aw shucks, dang it, I whiffed on that one. Like not my best run there, as he walks out of the pool of blood, and then talk to the other characters, and they'll like joke with you about how you died and what monsters killed you, and they'll be like, yeah man, those bats, they'll get you every time, you gotta watch out for those. And Zagreus is like, I know, and that's exactly what I'm feeling. It's a very fun way of not interrupting the action, and then like as soon as you got a little story, you're feeling refreshed, reinvigorated, and you're ready to bounce back in.
Yeah, I go to the mirror, put some points in, all that stuff. Yeah, go ahead.
Should ask Ross. Obviously, everybody knows the three of our backgrounds with the other SuperGiant games. What's your background with those other games?
I've only played Bastion and then the 2 Hades. I have not played. Okay. I've started. I haven't played Pyre, and then the other game, which I'm blanking on. Transistor. Yeah. I've played about like an hour of that. So
okay. Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily know that they're super necessary, but I think you specifically would enjoy them. So Pyre, especially. So
Pyre's a special game, man.
Sure.
That's just a cool game. Yeah. So
yes.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the presentation. It's that I put it here in the notes as a SuperGiant house style at its paramount, at least at the time of release, because obviously Hades 2 improved that even more. But when you think SuperGiant, this is like the ideal look. Nice hand-drawn art style, beautiful character portraits, amazing looking in action too, with all the effects, and very visually. So even though there's chaos all over the screen, you know what's going on because you know what each effect looks like. Has a very good, unique, and very nice and necessary visual identity too for the gameplay. So, yeah.
Yeah, I'll mention that, and this has been mentioned so often, including in our Discord by a lot of horny people. But the character portraits are fantastic, and this is probably the first time I've ever uttered this word on IndieQuest. Sexy, I suppose. Yes, that all of that is what you're getting out of Hades. And I mentioned that it's got the visual novel elements, but it also has and this plays into the story. It also has a dating sim element by being able to give certain items to characters, including enemies at times. It's very interesting. I mean, just every time you award or you give these characters more stuff, they eventually get to have more dialogue with you. But that all starts with, I think we all play Hades and pick a character or two that we enjoy the most based on how they talk, but also how they look, right? And that all plays into the presentation. So
your favorite is Aphrodite, right? With no clothes on, just literally naked.
just
hey, she somehow gets less clothes in Hades 2. I don't understand it. It's very strange. Very weird. Every character is gorgeous. That is not a gender specific term.
Nope.
There is not a single person on here that is not gorgeous, beefcake, mommies and daddies for days.
Yes.
Just anything you could want, anything you crave, whatever your preferences are, there's at least 3 characters in here for you.
Yes.
But yes, and aside from that joke, it's also, they are tremendously well drawn. It is just, as is always the case with a SuperGiant game, it is some of the best looking, just hands on the page art of all time, and that's been true for all of their games. And you could see, I feel you could see a lot of the character designers and artists really coming into their own in Pyre, and a lot of the unique identity that those characters have, and the really robust detailed character portraits and how those match pretty cleanly with their smaller sprites in the action. All of that seems like it's turned to the volume to 120 in Hades now. It's everyone is going Super Saiyan on that development team, I swear.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy watching the documentary on the making of that game, and then seeing some of the early looks of these characters, and then what they ended up being is just unbelievably polished.
Yep. Were there? I didn't. Did you play? You played early access for this?
I did
one?
not.
Yeah?
No. Switch release.
Only 2. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, it's
curious if the characters were always
different.
looking the way they do in early access, or if they're different. I was not around for the early access period.
It's it might have been Hades 2, where it's they just put a character, a blank character slot, this character's coming, or maybe a sketch of what it might look like. I've seen some screenshots of that from early access from 2, so I assume it might be the same way.
Which would be such a huge
people.
bummer. That is so much of getting, going to see a random god as you're playing through the game, and you see a heart. We were already talking about her, right? And then Aphrodite pipes out, and you know exactly what you're about to see, but it's exciting to be able to know what god is coming, and early access is early access, but that's probably part of why I don't very often play them, because I'd prefer the finished product. But yeah, it's still cool to see where it came from.
Yeah.
Beyond even the characters, though, I think that Josh, you were saying that it has a good, clean visual identity, you can understand things in combat, and that's true, which is impressive to me, because this has got to be the most colorful game I have ever played in my life. There is so many bright, vivid colors. All the different biomes are different, but the art style has this unique kind of penciled look where lining different edges of textures and walls and buildings. Maybe it's like a greenish brick, but then there'll be like streaks of purple and gold and pink lining that out. And so it's like literally visually noisy, but then arranged in such a way where it all just kind of makes sense and comes out clean in the wash. So it's the perfect game to just grab a couple screenshots and basically set any of them as your desktop wallpaper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it sounds good too, obviously. Darren Korb back on the soundtrack here, so it's always going to sound one of the best soundtracks maybe ever in video games, right?
Truly. Yes. I mean, Darren Korb, to this point, has never missed. Even like Bastion, which isn't everybody's cup of tea, fantastic soundtrack. They've all had just the best soundtracks, and it only got better for Hades, which is why I'm almost worried to play Hades 2 to see if it's gotten any, not worse, but how can you continue to top yourself, buddy? That's my thing with old Darren. So
I think it got bigger. Like there's more like bigger scores or bigger, more instruments and
they've got that budget now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's good.
Yeah, and then we also got Logan Cunningham coming back too, like always. Yeah. Voices 6 characters: Hades himself, Lord Hades, Poseidon, Achilles, Charon, and Asterius. And also, he does not use too much as this, but he is also the narrator when there is a narrator. So 6 different character voices. So all the way from the Bastion telling the story till now, he's still out there doing his thing.
I did not realize that he did so many different characters in the game. Yeah. That's interesting.
I did not either. I totally forgot
a good job
he was
making
the
them very
Bastion
unique.
narrator too.
Yeah, he's so good in that. It's so funny you said all those names, Josh, and I was like, oh man, and that amazing performance of him as Charon. He was so good at just grunting.
Someone's got to do it, though,
That's true. It's true. It's just so funny that and Charon. Yep.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
All right. Oh, well, I guess we can jump into the gameplay. I guess an overview of it is you are Zagreus, and you're trying to get to the surface, and there's 4 biomes to go through to get up to the surface. Very baseline of what you're doing. So you start off with a weapon. I'm just laughing because Steve is just like, okay, Josh. Anyway, you start out, you pick your weapon, and then you basically work your way up trying to get out of the underworld. So very simple. How do we want to tackle this? We want to go into our favorite weapons maybe, or favorite builds?
Yeah, I'll just go down the weapons, I suppose, and do just briefly off the top of the dome explain kind of what each of them do, and then we can go through some
actually, they're called infernal arms.
Dang
it!
Thank you
already.
It was me. Yes. I was saying weapons, so you can blame me. It's easy.
The infernal arms. So you start out with Stygius, which is your basic sword. Lots of slashes, some like ground pound type stuff. Then eventually you get a spear, obviously longer range, but still melee. Then, interestingly enough, you get Aegis, which is a shield, which you might think, wow, that's boring.
Yeah.
But it is not boring, actually. It is a very cool weapon. I mean, yes, you have to be pretty close range to do like the melee type stuff, but there's like some throwing stuff you can do with it, and the bull rush is like super epic. It is, especially if you start to understand how to do it. It seems like the timing's weird at first, but you can mitigate damage. You're basically putting your shield in front of Zagreus and charging forward, right? And you can just blast a whole bunch of dudes in front of you. Koronach is the heart-seeking bow, and at first you're like, wow, a bow, that's going to make this game so much easier. But it doesn't. It's actually quite hard to use that bow at first because you have to charge it, and it's just an interesting way to play the game. But for me personally, as soon as you like get good with the bow, you start to feel like an actual god, pun intended. So very cool, fun weapon. Malphon is the fists, which you would think would be super up close, but they're not really. They have like energy waves that come off of the end of them, if I remember correctly. So, and they're very fast. Probably other than maybe the next weapon, they're about the fastest weapon you can get. I love the fists, and I'm not going to give away which one's my favorite yet, but you get to do so much dashing with them. You do a lot of dashing with all of these weapons, I think, and maybe we can get into that in like our gameplay style. But you feel like you can just cover so much distance and you're still doing damage because you're constantly punching. So that's fun. And then last but not least, but probably weirdest for this game is Exegriff. Literally a railgun, basically a machine gun. It even has ammo. It's very different from the rest of the weapons. It is got better range than most of the weapons, but you're constantly having to manage your ammo. Like you can run out. You can just hold the button down and shoot until you run out, and then you start to hear it click, and Zagreus will yell, "I'm out," and it's kind of like an indicator to stop shooting. So getting an understanding of how to use it. There's like a rocket that you can use for its special and stuff like that. But yeah, those are all the weapons. So I suppose you guys want to weigh in or start going around?
I feel like they start you with what ends up being my like least favorite weapon, like the sword. Like I barely use that after I unlock other weapons. You know.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just because it is the starting one, so I'm like, I've moved on. You know, I'm a better player than that. But they are good, I think, about unlocking the weapons sort of in order of complexity. Maybe it's just that Exegriff is last because it is the weirdest one and it requires a little bit more attention than the others. But as you go down the line, like I remember my first victory I ever got was with the spear, and for a long time I was a spear boy because you have such good range on it. And I guess I could just spoil my current favorite weapon, which is to say it's 100% it's the Twin Fists is my favorite weapon because
Nice.
I only have 2 brain cells that barely rub together, so my brain cannot really keep track of like special attacks and casts. Like I'll throw them in from time to time, and obviously if like the boons have guided me in such a way, that's how I'll play. But I tend to just be sort of like caveman. I just want to bash the main attack button over and over and over again. And so I like to do the fists because depending on what boons you've unlocked, if you're adding like stacks of a debuff like chill or something like that, they add stacks very quickly. Now, obviously not as quickly as Exegriff, but Exegriff is like too much math for my brain to handle. Can't really manage it. So I feel like the Twin Fists have always been the sweet spot for me in terms of my play style.
Oh well, I'll jump in. I'm a spear boy. I'll say it. I've always been a spear boy. I did do this time. I went out of my way to complete a run with every weapon. So I was like, okay, let's try every single weapon because you got to do 10 anyway. So there's 6 here. Let's go ahead and do it. I still leaned on the spear. I like the second unlock for the spear where you throw it out and then you go to it. I forget. I think it's the Achilles one. I'm pretty sure. I guess I should have had that in front of me, but you use the special and you throw the spear out, and then you basically like do kind of, it's not really a bull rush, but you just kind of like dart to it and then grab it, So I like that because you can do a lot of like wave effects and stuff like that depending on your boons. I will say my second favorite would probably be the railgun, just because it's fun to use. I mean, it can go very south very easily if you're not planning very well with that one because it's so weird and unique. But I think I like it because it's a little weird and unique. So I have a few beats on that runs that I won with that one too. It's just fun. So yeah.
Yeah, I'll say I got my first beat with the shield and with the basically just spamming the special attack, which throws your shield out and it connects with a bunch of different enemies. So you put some kind of a dot effect on there, like Ares or Aphrodite, and then you can just apply that to a bunch of enemies at the same time and basically just kite enemies around and keep spamming that. It's a very easy way to win. But my favorite is the rail because I've used the rail more than any other weapon. Like it's by far my favorite.
I think the shield is a pretty common one for people to get their first run, but not because of that. Like, that is a good point that you can throw it around, but it's also like the only thing in the game that just lets you fully block any damage you want with a like charged held attack. So it's a very safe weapon to go for your first run. Your run is probably going to take twice as long if you play that way, but you are able to like absorb every attack, do one little counter attack, and then hold the shield down, charge, and absorb the next attack.
It's so funny. I never used the shield that way. Like, I think I did very early on, but now the way I play Hades, and the way I will always play Hades, is I am the most ultra-aggressive player ever. Like, I see an enemy, I dash that enemy, and I delete that enemy. And then I see another enemy, and I do the same thing over and over and over again. So I'm not sitting there charging hardly anything, other than the bow. Which I think the bow would probably be my second favorite, because I think there are some cool, like, and we could talk about it a little bit right now. There are aspects on these weapons, too, that you can unlock. We've already mentioned a couple of them, but they allow each weapon to be oftentimes very different than the original weapon, which is cool. So, it breathes new life into weapons that maybe you didn't like as much. For example, we were talking about Aegis and, being able to, Ross was talking about throwing the shield and it bounces between enemies. There's also one where you just throw the shield and it just hovers out and becomes like a mine, basically, for any enemies to go in. It doesn't blow up, but it hurts them as they walk into it and stuff like that. So it's like a, area control type of thing. But the bow is probably my second favorite. Crazy enough, and I think it's because I do this with almost every game I ever play. I like to pull something out of the weapon that most people don't like. So my favorite is actually the sword. Specifically, aspect of Poseidon on the sword. And that one makes it so you actually do have to use your cast. You basically have to use everything in your arsenal. But Poseidon makes it so, because I'll talk, I guess, a little bit about each specific ability that you're able to do. Your cast is like these little red jewel things that Zagreus can throw out. And I think the majority of people who play probably walk into a room and they just do all their casts on the first thing they see, and then they're like, all right, now I'm going to go start hitting stuff. Or maybe just don't use their cast at all. And I'm like, well, I want to get better at the game, right? So I kind of focused on trying to use my cast or doing builds that involved my cast. So Poseidon on the sword makes it so that you use your cast, and then if you use your special, which for the sword is like you jump and then slam down on the ground in an area and it does damage. It makes it so that you dislodge all those from the enemy, and typically there's like a timer, or you have to kill the enemy to get those back. So it makes it so you can actually become like a wizard, basically, and it's cool. You're constantly shooting, and then you're just you kind of get best of both worlds. You got that range, you can shoot the enemy with your casts, and then slam them, get them all back, and rinse and repeat, do it again. So that's why the original sword is definitely not my favorite. The aspect of Zagreus I don't enjoy, because it's pretty basic and it just like gets buffs as you power it up. But Poseidon is very different, I would say, from the original story. It's not quite as different as Arthur, which is like really weird. Like it's a very, there's like an area of effect you have to stand in and stuff like that. But we probably won't get too deep into the weeds on some of that stuff. But it is cool.
Poseidon aspect, I think, is like the only one I really like on the sword, and that one just makes it so like your cast builds are like online. Those casts are like super powerful, so if you can get them back right away and just reuse them, it's just really powerful.
As you play through the game, you get, what's it called, like Titan Blood or something like that? Is that what you get?
Titan Blood.
Titan Blood.
That's the name of it. Yeah.
So when you get the Titan Blood, you're able to power up, you're able to unlock other forms of your weapons, but you're also able to power up each form you already have unlocked to make them stronger. So typically, if you're going to do a high heat run, which we mentioned a little bit ago, there's a lot of systems in this game, I'm realizing, as we keep talking. But you can turn up heat, which makes the game harder, but in order to like beat those high heat runs, you have to definitely have your weapon at the highest level it can be to make sure you're maximizing damage, right? So it's insane. Using the Poseidon aspect as an example, You go into it, unlocking it, and you have plus 10% to your cast. But by the time you're done, it's plus 50%. Like, that is insane. That is a lot of damage, especially if you get a really good boon on your cast. Like, you can do, like, if you get Zeus, for example, and it's, and we can talk about boons too. There's so much, but Zeus makes it so your cast shoots out and ricochets around and hits everybody, kind of like the shield. So, yeah, that's it. It doesn't start out as being a super systems heavy game, but if you like numbers, you're gonna like Hades. It's yeah.
Yes, there's something like 8 or 9 currencies in the game, some of which are run exclusive, some of which are used post run for upgrades to your next run, some of which unlock weapons. Having to describe it on a podcast, you're like, oh my god, this game seems so complicated. Why would anyone ever enjoy it? But when you do play it, like, they're all rolled out pretty smoothly and pretty naturally in a way where you kind of understand the 1 or 2 places that all of these are going to get used. And you don't it's not like you're like constantly engaging with every system every run either. Like, Titan Blood is a relatively rare material that you get from like beating bosses or beating them on higher heat levels, so every couple of runs you'll probably unlock a new aspect of a weapon, and then you can go mess around with it. I do like that the last aspect of each weapon has like kind of unique unlock conditions, but also is always like universally the weird one that like messes with the weapon entirely, where you go, all your muscle memory for that weapon becomes useless because it'll either require that you play in a very different way or often just completely change the moveset. Like the buttons will just do different things. And I'm sure they're very powerful, but I never got super into them because by the time I was unlocking them, I was so comfortable and familiar with the aspects and the weapons that I liked that I would do like one run with them and I'd be like, wow, that's weird. And then I would just go back to what I was doing before.
Yeah, I feel like you almost have to specialize in them. It's a case of, oh, I unlocked this thing. I need to spend 10 hours with it to get good and understand, because it's basically just a different weapon. So, but that does really kind of point to how much variety is in this game. It is insane that every run is going to be totally different, and everyone is going to have a completely different experience. We've just talked about our favorite weapons, but like, there's truly not a single person probably on this planet that's ever had the same run in Hades. It is just, it's so varied. So,
yes, very much so. Well, okay, so that's all the weapons, but we should probably talk through the boons as part of like a larger gameplay loop here. So, in a run in Hades, you start out by choosing your weapon. You can choose from any of the 6 that you've unlocked. They do kind of incentivize you to choose one weapon if you want to vary it up, because they'll give you some extra resources, like a buff to resources with one of the 6 weapons each time. So a lot of times I would just end up choosing that one because I'm like, why not? But if I'm feeling like I'm going to go for a high heat run or something, I'll obviously choose a weapon that I am comfortable with. You'll start the run out. You can choose your heat level, but we'll get back to heat. And the actual gameplay loop is you go room to room to room in these biomes. You're going to be fighting waves of enemies in almost every instance. There's obviously a lot of rooms that do other things like heal you, or there's shops where you can buy different items and boss rooms and things like that. But most rooms you're going to be fighting a variety of enemies. And when you clear that room out, you'll get, like, as you fight around in the room, you'll get some currencies and things like that. But when you beat the room, you get the reward for that room. The most common of which, and the first one you always get at the very start of a run, is going to be a boon, which are basically like the building blocks of your builds for the entire game. So you get X number of boons as you play through a run. I don't know how many it is, maybe like 15 or something like that. And how they mix and match together is what your run will look like and what will make your run this time feel unique and different from your previous run, because you will be going through the same areas every time. Like, there's ways to mix up the bosses and stuff like that, but like, you are going through the same areas, so the way that the game keeps it fresh is the mix of your weapons and your boons. And each of those boons is tied to one of the Olympian gods. So basically, you're basically like speaking to them, and they're giving you a little piece of their power, like a little blessing of theirs to help you in your run. And they vary pretty wildly. A lot of them, a lot of them have kind of like archetypes to what the boons will do. Like they will do something unique to your main attack, something unique to your special, or something unique to your cast, each of which is kind of lined up with the flavor and play style of that particular god. But then they'll have a lot of other really weird ones too, like the ones that one that I use a lot because I told you I'm a caveman player is if you have cast all of your casts and you're not holding any, you get a bonus damage. So I can walk into a room, spam the cast button 3 times, and then never think about it again while I have my bonus damage. There's ones that will literally just give you resources, like you don't actually get any benefit to your run. Like Poseidon will just dump a bunch of money at your lap and be like, "Here you go, buddy," and a whole other mess of them. So I don't know if we want to go through each one or if we want to just talk through what people's kind of who you tend towards and what play styles you favor if you can control it, which sometimes you can't. Go for it.
Yeah, I think I'll mention, before I mention what I enjoy, certain gods can almost hurt you in terms of what you're doing. So Steve says he likes to play with the fists, right? Lots of what Poseidon does is push, right? Mm-hmm. And if you want to be next to the enemy, then pushing them away is not going to help you. Now, if you're playing a bow, maybe you want them to be away from you. But if you're playing fists, then you don't really want to be constantly pushing your enemies away, or else what's the point, right? Yeah. So it really depends on the weapon you're using in terms of like which boon you're going to select. For me, and I feel like this is, talk about caveman, this is like the most caveman thing ever. Artemis is just the best because it's mostly just flat damage and you just crit more often. I had for preparing for this, I had a run with Exegriff where I got Artemis, and one of Artemis's abilities makes it so that you shoot out arrows every time you attack. And when you have a very high attack speed weapon, you're just constantly getting arrows, right? And that's what you want to do. Yep. So Artemis is like, I see that little arrow icon, I'm like, nice. It's a little hard to pass it up because you don't have to vary your play style at all. You just play the game how you like to play, and you just get more free damage from Artemis. Another one, Zeus. I'll talk about Zeus now. I guess I mentioned him already. Zeus has a lot to do with lightning, as you can imagine. But most of what he's doing is like, hey, do you have a giant group of enemies? We're going to hit them all at once, right? With chain lightning type effects, which is always fun, especially if you ramp it up to 11, because you can just jump into a group of enemies and they're all just taking massive damage, and it's fun to just see them all get deleted at once. So I would say that those are probably 2 of my favorites.
Yeah, I tend to lean a little bit more for status effect type things. I like Dionysus. I know that getting that weak effect to in a good area of effects is always nice. There's also in the mirror, which that's another system that we have in the game where you get the darkness and you can go in the mirror, and this is kind of what you level up for Zagreus between runs to like give you specific buffs to different things. There is one in there, if there is a character with 2 different status effects, they get more damage. So I'm like, okay, so a lot of the times I will try to get 2 separate damage types on a character. So I'll have like chill and then like weak, so I'll be like a chill and weak build this time, or I'll try to do that a lot, or I will just go, let's just get a lot of damage and do like you do with Zeus, just destroy a bunch of people with some lightning. So kind of the 2 areas I lean. I like, and sometimes it's like you're just thrown like these things that you don't use too often. Let's try a couple of these out and see if they kind of stack together. And then sometimes they even have duo things that you didn't even know about between the gods. So it's like, oh, I'm a little bit surprised sometimes that these 2 actually can interact and have a duo boon. Cool. Let's see what this is like, so, which is pretty cool.
I feel like most of the time you get a duo boon, you're a happy camper. Because a lot of times they're basically taking your current build, and they're like, when you do your current build, you just now do more damage or like explode for more DPS or whatever it is. Like, just almost never am I turning it down.
Yeah.
I would counterpoint your fist Poseidon combo if you use the Gilgamesh aspect, which gives you an extra dashes. and then you slap on Poseidon's dash boon, it gets real crazy.
Oh.
So you're almost not even using the fists anymore. You're just going to dash around, which it's kind of a crazy build, but and kind of a meme, but it is fun. It is fun.
I like Poseidon is one of my favorites, even though I use the fists, not when I am using the fists necessarily, but every god, all of their boons, if you keep taking their boons multiple times throughout the run, they almost get like a level 2 version of whatever the thing is that they do. So, they'll get Artemis will give you crit chance, and then it'll turn it so that any enemy that you crit also is exposed for I forget bigger crits or more damage down the line. Or Hades will have it so that whenever someone is affected with lightning, they get a jolted status effect where they're going to take an extra hit of lightning next time or something like that. But Poseidon's is Rupture, which basically does damage whenever the enemy is moved, and obviously all you're doing with Poseidon is moving them around, and so something about the math on Rupture damage always feels really high to me, where whenever I'm scooting someone out, I feel like I'm just absolutely melting them. And so I do whenever I have the opportunity, to go down the Poseidon track with a little bit of Artemis in there, because I'm not going to say no to a little base crit chance. It's always a good time.
I often will go.
Sorry, I was going to say I think Poseidon has the boon where if you slam people against barriers, that's an additional effect too. So you could just be slamming a bunch of fools, getting 200 extra damage everywhere, which is always fun too.
I think that's the most powerful I felt is with Poseidon and Zeus together, because then once you start moving the enemies, they're taking lightning plus the whatever slamming against walls or whatever. It just gets real crazy.
Yep.
It does. I like Zeus a lot too. I think this is maybe a legendary boon, or I don't know if it is or not, but you can get it where your casts become lightning rods to affect
it's called lightning
them.
Rod.
And see, there you go. And because I throw my casts out and then I try not to think about them if I don't have to, it's nice that when they're sitting out there in the world that they're doing something for me. So I always take that one whenever I have the chance to get it too.
I feel like one of the more newbie boons is Athena, because Athena makes it so you can deflect a whole bunch of stuff. But I have found that as you get better at the game, Athena, and Ross, totally clear me up on this if I'm wrong, but I found that Athena, I almost don't want to see Athena, because it's it's nice to not take damage, but a lot of times Hades' offense, the best offense is, or a good offense is the best defense or whatever. Just get rid of the enemy so you don't have a chance for them to attack you.
I think generally that's the case, but once you get into the higher heats, I don't know, that dash protection is really nice.
Yeah. Yep. I guess we haven't mentioned. Oh, go ahead, Steve.
I was going to say, I think Athena maybe has the strongest base attack buff.
Yeah,
from her boon.
That
all of them would do some effect and they'll give you 40% extra damage. And I think Athena's is actually, ironically, the highest, even though she's the defensive person. You think Ares would have the highest damage buff, but I think it is hers. Probably because there's not that big of a benefit otherwise.
One of my favorite things to do, and we haven't really talked about specific levels yet, but there is a level on the second floor where you get a mini boss with all the caster people,
Yeah,
and having the witches, and having Athena, anything with Athena for that feels so good, because it's almost a bullet hell. It becomes a bullet hell. There's stuff everywhere, and if you have Athena, it just gets bounced back to them, and they just all get wrecked. It feels amazing, because especially early on when you haven't played this game much and you hit that room, you're like, I don't know how to deal with this. This is insane. So it's fun to kick them
I
back
just
to.
played that room earlier today, and what a thing I just completely forgot is your bullets will cancel out their bullets. If you're shooting something, it'll just wipe out their bullets.
Because you were using Exagriff, I assume.
What was I using? It wasn't Exagriff, but it was the shield. So I was throwing my shield out, and as it was hitting their projectiles, they were disappearing.
No, that's cool. So all of these boons can impact each of your attacks, right? So the boon can be like a flat passive boon, which is a lot of what we've been talking about, but you can have, Zeus on your attack, which is going to make you have chain lightnings on your attack, and on your special, and that's going to do something with lightning, and on your cast, and that's going to make him zap to everybody. But they also have like an ultimate boon, right? The call or whatever they call it, where you charge up a meter at the bottom of the screen under your health, and it's got 4 separate charges. So basically, as you do damage, you get to charge that meter up, and you can use them in like their smaller sections, like their quarter sections, and they'll do something. Or you can wait till it gets all the way to the top, and then it's like a big, flashy thing. But each of them, basically, the way, I don't know how you guys use them, but it does a shit ton of damage as long as you focus it in the right place. Or, and this reminded me, because we were talking about Athena. Athena's just like makes it so you take no damage for a long time, and so you can just sit in the middle of a boss and just wreck them, not worrying at all about what they're doing to you. But every single god has their own specific one. Some of them are really good, some of them are less good. I feel like I didn't play enough this time, but I feel like I remember Poseidon's being quite good, but I can't remember exactly what it was.
It's pretty good.
It's derpy.
Yeah, you basically swim around and attack people. And you're invincible. Yeah.
Okay. It looks silly because you're just doing tight circles on the boss.
Yes. Boom, boom, boom. That's right.
Yeah. One of the ones you unlock after you do your beat your first run is you unlock Demeter, which is the ice, the chill. I like doing that as the ultimate because it kind of slows everybody down. So if you're in like a chaos area where there's like 10 to 12 15 people on screen with just bullets everywhere, you can just throw out the freezing, and then you're like, okay, everyone's a little slow, I can just bounce around, kind of get everybody while they're slowed down a little bit, which is nice. And they get ice damage too, so yeah, good times.
I think they're all pretty good. Probably my least, even though Artemis is a person I always take boons, I'd say Artemis is one of my least favorite calls, because if I'm remembering right, it's like a high crit chance, but it's not a 100% crit chance on the call, but also it's just like you're just firing a big kind of, you're nuking them with like a single mega arrow, and so depending on the boss or the situation, it's very possible to accidentally just launch that into a normal enemy and be like, oh, that is not what I wanted to do.
That is a bummer. Especially against the last boss, because there are normal enemies around all the time on that last boss. So it feels very bad.
Which is the only boss I'm ever thinking of when I'm thinking of the boss.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
I do think it's funny. I was looking up some stuff on Reddit, and everybody calls the last boss Redacted. Like, that's what everybody always calls him. Yeah, so. Yeah.
I like that. And I'm curious about this, because I've heard this feedback from other people, and I have my own reactions to it. But I've heard one of the more common criticisms of Hades is that people have said every run feels the same. Like, the boons don't change up the play style enough for runs to feel varied. And other than Seth, who's just shaking his head angrily right now, I'm curious if that rings hollow or true for any of you compared to other roguelikes. Like, how mad did I make you by saying that?
You can go, Seth. You seem like you want to say something.
Well, I mean, I literally said like 20 minutes ago that I thought this was a very varied game. But
yeah,
to those people, I think that the issue that people have when they say something like that is they're like, I like the bow, and I'm just going to use the bow now. Well, yeah, I mean, if you use the bow over and over and over and over again, you're eventually going to... Yet another system. There are, what are they called, like trinkets or charms or something that you can you can kind of build your run out to keepsakes to get the boons you want to get by leveling those up, and then you equip them, and then you can, I want Artemis. I'm using the bow and I want Artemis for whatever reason. Okay, then you attach the Artemis boon, and then you get Artemis over and over again, and that's kind of how you can shape your run into being the god-defying run, I suppose, that you want it to be. And those people who say stuff like that, I think that's kind of what they do. They get their weapon that they very much enjoy, and then it's the same game over and over. And yes, you do travel to the same locations, and they do vary in terms of like enemies and different like floor or specific levels or specific stages that you can get from run to run. But yes, I suppose I could see where it's like, oh, this is pretty samey. But I'm not that kind of player. I never have been with Hades. I go back and, like Steve said, you get a bonus on a weapon, and I almost always pick that weapon, like whatever the bonus weapon is, and I just go. It's very, very rare unless I'm doing very specific higher heat runs where I'm trying to do something that I will just go back in with the exact same weapon over and over and over again for me. So it's always very varied. This game is as varied as you want it to be, right? Like you can make it. You can put yourself in a tight hallway if that's what you want to do, or you can try, or you can play a different weapon every single run forever. And there's 6 of them, and they all have 4 different aspects. Like there's so much variability in this game. I don't know.
Yeah, I can see that. Like, if you get stuck in your spot where you're like, okay, so say like, oh, I like the spear. I'm going to use Aphrodite and the spear every single time because that's one that I would gravitate towards when I was playing it originally. And I could see myself doing that run 3 or 4 times and being like, okay, yeah, I died at the same spot. This is getting annoying. But I don't know. I think it's just you got to change your mentality. It's just like any roguelike. You got to like, okay, this time I'm just going to do something different and just see how it goes. If I die on the 3rd room, oh well. I tried something, it didn't work. Maybe I try something else. That's like the experimentation is part of the gameplay. And I think people forget that a lot. And they're thinking of it more like a linear game where it's like, okay, I go from point A to point B to point C, and this is how it's done every single time. No, this game has point A to point B to point C, but there's thousands and thousands of permutations of that path, So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the build variety is like immense here, but maybe like the complaint is like, oh, I'm going through the same area every run, every time. I see like the same enemies. Maybe it's randomly generated, so slight difference, but often it is the same enemies every run. So I could see that.
Yeah, and I think one thing that's different in Hades compared to other really big roguelikes like Binding of Isaac or even Balatro is that Hades builds can get pretty strong, but you can never like wildly outpace the difficulty curve like you can in some of those other games. Like, you can get to a point in Balatro where against the last ante you play like a single hand and you do 400 times the total score you need to win because you've already gotten so powerful. Hades, like, you can get some dumb strong builds or like some extremely low effort builds where you can there's literally builds in Hades where you just stand still and beat the boss.
Yeah. I distinctly remember Ross doing one and posting the video.
I posted the video of that one. Yeah. Walked in and put the controller down and beat him.
I think that was very on in my Hades attempts because I was like, man, this game's pretty tough. I mean, it's certainly going to take me a while to like get super good at it. And then Ross posts a freaking video where he's just standing in the final boss room doing nothing, and he just kills him. I'm like, are you kidding me?
I think I had like 300 health and 3 death defiances.
Yeah,
yeah.
So if you're playing a roguelike and you're looking for like you want to just see the numbers get comically large, if you're like a scientific notation type of player, sure, maybe this will feel like you're a little more boxed in and you're like, it feels the same in that regard. The power level doesn't swing wildly, but I struggle to think of a game that gives you more choices. Like, you have your choice of buffs, you have your choice of weapons, the aspect of that weapon, you have your choice of boons, you have your choice of which rooms you go through. You have so many options to build your character and your run out how you want that I certainly hope that you find variety there.
Yes,
yeah, but this has come up multiple times in conversations with people. I am one of those people that is like very, very high on Hades. It's one of my favorite games. I think it's fantastic. And I think that a lot of times people that don't feel quite that strong, that is where that feeling comes from. And I'm like, my brain never considered it that way. So it's interesting that's the perspective you're coming from.
I do feel that you're on the correct side of history there, though, Steve. And I think,
I mean, different strokes for different folks, but yeah,
the majority of people agree with you. I haven't checked Steam lately, but the last time I did, it was like 300,000, 98% overwhelmingly positive. Like, Hades is top 5 most successful indie games of all time, maybe. Like, yeah. I don't know. I mean, it's way up there. So,
yeah, just like anything that's well loved, there are complaints. There's always
yeah.
The other one I hear a lot is it's too talky, just too much chat. There's too much dialogue. I mean, you
play
can
Pyre.
Right. Yeah. So to me, I'm like, I like the story. Obviously, I enjoyed it, but yeah.
That one in particular, again, I don't want to tell people that they're objectively wrong. Like, if you felt like there was not a lot of variety in Hades, like, that came from a place that rang true to you, so okay. But when someone does say Hades is too talky, I'm like, all the conversation in the game is opt-in. Like, if you finish a run, you just run right to the next run, and you basically never talk to anyone. Like, what do you just ignore the exclamation points if you don't want to talk? Like, what are you talking about? How this game has less dialogue than almost any other game I play.
And if you are the type of person who ignores those, then I don't know why you're playing Hades. That's like so much. Like, that's your reward. Even if you were unsuccessful, you still get a reward in that way. Like, it's got one of, and we can, I guess, I don't know, you guys have any more gameplay stuff, or we want to talk a little bit about the story before we do anything else?
I think we can get into story. And to be clear, when I say it's got less dialogue, I mean less forced dialogue. Like, by volume, it has the most dialogue. It has like a freaking set of encyclopedias in terms of actual content, but it's dished out very slowly and at a great pace, and at whatever rate I want to experience it. So
yeah, it's very much the thing that Seth was saying earlier. There, you end up finding characters you really gel with. You're like, okay, I want to see what this through line is. Like, I love Sisyphus. I love talking to Sisyphus. So every time his room comes up, I talk to him and Boldy every single time. I have to see what's going on with Sisyphus. So like, there's, I won't spoil anything about that, but there's more to that. But yeah, so you always find the characters you like, and I think that's kind of the fun part about it. You're probably not going to see everything in this game, and that's okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the story, there is like it almost feels like it's weirdly like Grand Theft Auto in a way, right? Where you have like, it's the strangest touch point maybe I've ever done. In a game like that, a big open world game, you have your main objective, and you're going to hopefully eventually do that. But you can't like walk all over the place in the underworld. But you can literally, this world is your oyster. You make of it what you want. You can go, even if they don't have an exclamation point above their head when you go back to like the main hub, you can still talk to everyone. And you're going to get different dialogue. You're going to learn little bits and pieces. It might not go into your book or whatever, but you're still going to learn things. I feel like every time Achilles is in there, I go and talk to Achilles because he's just the best. Like I'm gonna, if he's standing there, I'm gonna talk to him. If Hades is sitting there, I'm going to talk to him, of course. Like, and that it takes time to get to talk to Hades, but I think that everyone probably assumes eventually you'll get to. And so, yeah, I mean, it's just you get what you put in, and you can absorb what you want, and more so than maybe any other game, other than the main through line, everyone is going to take something different away from Hades in terms of this story. Because I'm not sure if I can name a different game that has a better cast of NPCs than in Hades. They're just the best, all of them. So, very worth playing through. And like I said, if the gameplay is excellent, I think it's a reason a lot of people play it. But the story beats, and the characters are, and really truly, it is mostly the characters are second to none in indies and maybe all games, in my opinion. So,
yeah. I mean, it goes back to what I said earlier. In other games, other roguelites, you lose a run, and it's easy to feel like, oh, I just wasted 30 minutes of my life. Like, I got nothing out of
Yep.
that. But in Hades, I lose a run and I'm like cracking my knuckles. Who's down here? Who am I talking to? I only got a couple of nectars, but who am I dishing these out to? All right, I got some gifts to go around. All right, who do I want to butter up? And if anything, I'm like, I got to do another whole freaking run before I can talk to and hang out with these people again. What a waste of my time. It's the inverse of what I normally experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the sad part about my playing Hades for this. I just didn't have enough time, so I was basically just jamming the skip button through all the dialogue just to try to get a run completed. So I'm a huge fan of the Furies, Meg and
Me too.
Oh yeah.
what were the other ones? Electo,
can't-
Tisiphone, yeah.
Yep.
Those three have great
Murder.
dialogue options. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm an Achilles boy myself. I like, in terms of like the people you talk to in runs, Eurydice is probably my favorite.
Oh, he's great. Yeah.
There's a lot of good ones.
I mean, that's true. Anytime you get to talk to Theseus and Asterius, you're having a good time too.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime you cross paths with them. Theseus is so good. Theseus may be one of the best villains in all of gaming.
Oh yeah.
I swear. They set him up so well. They make him such a perfect representation of vanity. He's so funny.
You said Eurydice, and I was confused. I was thinking Orpheus, but they're both amazing.
Yeah.
On my sheet, I have Eurydice / Orpheus.
Yes.
So I'm gonna count it. Yeah, I'm gonna say that that's fair. Sweet. Should we get into, I guess, the like general narrative before we get to spoiler wall?
Yeah, sure.
I guess all you can really do is the story setup, and then it's like all spoilers from that point forward. So, any of you can correct me if I'm wrong here, but the pretty much all I can share is that you're playing as Zagreus, who's the son of Hades, and he is trying to escape from the halls of Hades. He's trying to escape the underworld. He's trying to get back to like Earth's surface, which is why all of these Olympic gods are helping you. So it's Olympic gods, so everybody's related to everybody. Everybody's a brother or sister or a cousin to everybody else. So they're your family, and you're trying to escape to the surface, and they want you to come meet with them. And they're basically like, you're our cool nephew. Like you're the, we're kind of sick of Hades, our brother. He's annoying, but you seem sweet. So come on up here, come hang out with us. And so they're giving you like casting down little benefits that help you reach them. And it's fun because as you do additional runs, they'll even like, everyone is very aware of this process. The entire game, like its mechanics and its story are very well integrated. And so the gods will say to you like, oh, you're pretty close to getting to us last time. I was really excited to see you, but it didn't work out. But I know you're going to get here one of these days. So you just keep on trucking, buddy. Just keep on charging forward. And spoilers, eventually you will succeed in a run, and you will do just that.
Uh-huh. And you were mentioning like, oh, they all have their specific dialogue. It is so great how they talk to Zagreus because each of them treat him in a different way. Poseidon is one of the best because he is Zagreus' uncle, right? I mean, so is Zeus, but it's like he treats him like how you would think a cool uncle treats a nephew.
Yes.
And that is what is that's so good about this game.
Yep. Of all the gods, Poseidon would be the first to let you have a sip of his beer.
Yes, right? Other than Dionysus, maybe. But
okay, yeah,
true.
Maybe more than a sip.
Oh, but anything else you feel like we should share about it, or should we just spoiler wall it and go the whole distance here?
Do we want to close? Do you want to like close the show out, quote unquote, like rank it with the other Supergiants, do like plugs, and then do like spoilers at the end, or what do you want to do? How do you guys want to wall that?
Yeah, I think that works.
Okay, so I guess where does this sit for you guys? Final thoughts before we plug and everything, and then where does this sit with you, like in ranking with the other Supergiant games?
I guess I'll go first.
Okay,
Hades is the best Supergiant game I've ever played. There's very little doubt in that, but I will say, and this is a lot of credit to Pyre, because Pyre, I never thought that any of the other ones would ever come close to Hades. But Pyre did its gosh darndest and certainly tried. It's not as good as Hades, but this is why I say Ross should play it, because I feel like you after you've enjoyed Hades, Pyre is even better in my opinion, and kind of being able to see that through line. But Hades is for me definitely the best on top of that mountain. So super good game. Anybody out there that's listened this far and has not played Hades yet, what rock have you been hiding under, and go play it. So
awesome.
Yeah. It's one of the best games I've ever played. It's very high in my favorite games of all time list. Although, ironically enough, it wasn't even my game of the year that year. It's not Hades' fault that 13 Sentinels Aegis Rim came out, all right? That game was pretty good. But it is my favorite SuperGiant game. I think that we're in pretty lockstep where I'd say Pyre is like right there as my second one. I think Pyre is tremendously slept on. And I fully agree with you that if you play Hades first and then go back to Pyre, you're like, oh, I get it now. Like yes. I see a lot of where these seeds came from. But yeah, I think Hades, it was the first game I ever played that like so naturally integrated its gameplay systems with its story. Like all of the things you do, there's a narrative reason for doing it, and all of like the narrative things that are discussed, you are playing in addition to learning about. Like it, I almost feel bad for roguelites that came after it, because now there is like such an expectation that they have a really good, compelling reason for why you're doing runs. You can't just be doing runs now. It has to narratively make sense, and like the way that dialogue is dished out like randomly but sequentially at the same time is a system that a lot of other games have borrowed. It's just like Hades, it's one of those moments where you see like a genre take like a big step forward, and you're like, okay, the bar like just got raised as a result of this one particular game. And I love it, and it's awesome, and it's always fun to play. So Hades is very good. I would main quest Hades personally.
Me too. Honestly, guys, though, I think I like Pyre a little bit more still. Like I like personally, like just as I will say Hades overall has more, and I would think the gameplay is probably a little more fun moment to moment. But I love Pyre. I just love the characters, and I loved everything. It's just something about it just kind of just sits a little bit above it for me, just for my personal taste. I just think I like the story a little bit more too in that game. So yeah, it's not saying it's a better game, but it's my favorite out of the SuperGiants right now.
I'm going to say something. That is quite possibly the most Josh-ass take ever. And I love it. I love it. Yeah. I do. It's great.
Yeah.
You said it. I didn't think you were going to say it, and then you said, I'm like, that makes so much sense. Like,
yeah. I don't know. Just something about it. I just liked it a little bit more. It just, for my personal taste, I think I just like the story and the characters, and I like the gameplay. The gameplay was so unique. I think it just really stuck out to me. It's something special. So I want to say it's my favorite. And if you're a fan of things I like, then you'll probably dig it too. But if you like Hades, you'll probably enjoy it. I do think, Ross, you should check it out. Which I don't think you can do the ranking, but what's your final thoughts?
Hades is at the top, and Bastion is underneath. Those are the only two I've played like fully. Hades 2 might. Yeah. It might challenge Hades for the top, but we'll see.
Interesting. Yeah. Ross, does Hades fall into your top 10, top 20 games of all time, do you think?
Yeah, easy. But, okay. I don't know if we're just talking indie games. I'm not sure if I can put it at the top of that list.
Binding of Isaac.
Josh, there's Binding of Isaac.
You didn't ask him the big question.
And there's Slay of the Spire. So those two are just...
Slay of the Spire, okay. Yeah.
All-timers.
I think we probably got you the big question when you first were on here, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what I said.
I don't know that we were doing it then. I'm not sure we were doing it then.
Oh, well, okay. Here's the big question. What's your favorite indie game of all time?
Man. It's probably Braid.
Okay. Braid.
No, it's probably not. That is like, I play that game often, actually. Every couple of years I go back to it and play through it. I just love it. But it's probably Slay the Spire. I don't know. That one is I play that one all the time.
That's a game that I'm so scared of because I
Same.
know I would just lose myself and I wouldn't play anything else. I need to play it, but there goes 100 hours at least. So it's like, yeah.
It's very similar to Hades, where it's like they made a really awesome game, and like I'd never thought in a million years they would make a sequel to those games, and they did.
Yep.
How you liking Slay the Spire 2?
It's more of the same, but better.
So it's just, you just add it to your old hour count. You know, you started that game at 1,000 hours and go from there.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, we're all pretty big fans. I mean, anyone who's listened to the show for any length of time would know that because we compare every game to Hades,
To Hades.
basically.
Yeah.
We're always like, well, you know, relative to Hades, this game has a pretty good story, or this game has a pretty weak story. You know, it's not quite Hades level in terms of polish, but so it's just a good video game. I just really
Do you
like it.
guys, are there any like comparisons to Hades as far as like that similar gameplay?
You know what?
Like,
that
there's
comes
a
to
game
mind.
I'm playing right now that is very inspired by Hades, Absalom. Have you guys played that?
Oh, I've heard of it. It's on
I
my
have.
list. Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very
Yes.
inspired by Hades. There's a lot of elements to it. I'm like, I was playing Hades, and I was just starting this because we wanted a good co-op game. Fun co-op game. We'll probably continue playing it. But it has very much that same, I finished the run, and new things opened up, and new storylines, and new characters. New things are happening on the map. You know, it's very much that without Hades, that game probably wouldn't exist in the way it does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's I brought it to the show a while back, but there's Lost in Random, the Eternal Die, which is literally like a Hades clone, like one step away from being a Hades clone. The story aspects of it is a little weaker, but I mean, you can bring your Hades muscle memory into Lost in Random, the Eternal Die, and you will succeed.
Yeah,
And
I remember
you'll
you
get through
talking
a
about
run.
that one.
Another one I think that probably isn't, I don't think it's like Hades, and Josh, you can speak to this, but I think that some of its undertones was probably taken from Hades, and that's Cult of the Lamb is a little bit
yeah.
like that darkness, you know, and
The
just
actual
hell
like
and-
runs. Yeah, the
Yes.
runs are honestly, it's like kind of chibi Hades during that
Yeah.
part, you know what I mean? During the actual like runs, of course there's all the farming and stuff on the outside that's more like Harvest Moon or whatever, but yeah, very similar.
Yeah. Yep.
We do have a couple of campfire chats as well if we want to read those before we do some plugs. I'll read the first one from LHC Greg. He emailed in and says, my feelings on Hades have ranged from it being an A game to a C game. I'll split the difference and settle on a B, aka this is fine. Which I don't agree that a B is this is fine, but hey, that's great. Anyway, my biggest complaint is that Hades is excessively meta progression based. You don't win only because you got good at the game. You win because you got good at the game and you've dumped enough time into the game that the game decides it's okay for you to win now with that level of skill. And continuing the theme of artificially extending playtime, you can only earn rewards for higher heat, 1 heat level at a time. If you've cleared up to 4 heat and you can clear 16 heat with no trouble, you will still have to clear 12 times to get all those rewards. Other than that, the game is fine. LHC Greg.
Maybe the most Greg comment of all time. I will say, Greg, you ranked it a B. You sent a paragraph of complaints, a single sentence at the end that says it's fine, and that's the balance that we get there. Where's everything that raises it from an F to a B? It's missing from this email.
I can sort of see where he's coming from with that you can't skip levels of heat. I never really had considered it, but if you've played through Hades and you actually are good at it and you've got enough upgrades in the mirror and everything, it is a little bit like padding, I suppose, to make you do 12 and then 13 and then 14, you know, and like actually have to go through all those steps to get the rewards associated. But I think that it was probably done that way because they're like, we've got all this dialogue. You can't just skip out on everything. Like, that's half our game. So play the game and then come back and talk to the people and then do it again. So I think that's probably why.
It also would, I think, just be weird for the curve of the game, which, granted, Greg takes issue with here, but the curve of the game would be strange if you did like a 10 heat run, and suddenly the game's like, here's 10 diamonds, 10 Titans
nuts.
Bloods. Like, you'd be able to unlock everything all at once, basically. Would feel a little goofy. But I'm glad you enjoyed it, Greg. I don't know what you enjoyed about it. That's not present in this email, but I'm glad you enjoyed it.
It's so funny because Greg was already brought up by Ross at the beginning of this episode, and then he's like, it was fine. I crushed Ross a couple times, and I was like, I'm done with that. So.
Also, for any listeners who don't know, we know Greg's. I wouldn't be this mean to just a random emailer. Here's someone I would be mean to, though. I'll read the second one here.
There you go.
Got one from our buddy Mr. Mo. Says, it's a milestone in roguelike. Uh-oh, my computer just went out. So hopefully you guys can still hear me?
Yes. I can still hear you.
Oh, boy.
You're frozen. Oh, you're back.
You're good now.
Am I?
You're back.
My monitors are still not here. Oh, boy.
Oh, you can't read it because it's literally now on your screen. So, yes.
All right, read it from memory.
I can read this one.
Read it for me while I try to figure out what's going on here.
All right. So I'll take this one from Mr. Mo. He says it's a milestone in roguelike game history, which we just read an email from Greg, and Greg might take offense to you calling this a roguelike, but I guess you have to talk to him in the Discord. After the first 15 hours, I needed a break due to repetitiveness to later continue with great fun going for the plat. Kind of funny that he says repetitiveness. We've talked about that. And Greg kind of mentioned it too. Love the higher heat challenge and the gameplay overall. Too many conversations for me. Was an S tier down to an A+ because of spoiler. And I don't know what that spoiler would be that takes it from S down to an A+, but...
Yeah, he didn't add any additional comment there, just that. So I'm not sure.
Probably the same thing as Greg wrote.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense,
Might
I guess
be.
if you're considering high heat runs to be spoilery, then yes, that's probably true. Especially considering, and Ross, clear me up, but you have to... It's like you don't get to clear one heat run that's for all the weapons. You have to do it for every single weapon too, right?
Yes.
So like if you haven't done any heat on the sword, then you have to go back and start at heat 1, and then you go up the ladder again, basically.
I think so.
Okay. I think
fuzzy
it is
on it
too.
right now, yeah.
Yeah, I think it is too. Because I think when I started the runs in between, like for this episode, I went into a 7 heat run with... I'm blanking on which weapon it was. But then when I went back out, I think it was the sword. And then when I went back out, I started a different run with a 1 heat. And so I think that's how it works. Right? It's like a ladder thing for each weapon. So it can get repetitive in that way. And I suppose for a lot of people, they're done with the game when they hit 10 finished runs. Right? So and then they're like, oh, cool, I won. And then they move on.
So if you want to be like one of these people to write into the show, you can send us emails, IndieQuestPod@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Blue Sky at IndieQuestPod, or you can find the quest log, IndieQuestPod.com, and you can see our amazing Google Doc there, which Hades will probably be on the main quest forever, because I don't think we're going to move that one. The game's too good for that. Ross, where can they find you on the internet since you are our special guest today?
I don't really have much of an internet presence, but you can come onto the Discord, the Polykill Discord, and hang out with me and chat if you want.
Okay.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So
well, Steve, where can they find you then on the internet?
Twitch and Blue Sky or the Polykill Discord. Blinkoom everywhere online. What about you, Seth?
You can find me on Blue Sky at Captain Drachma, and also in the Polymedia Discord. Best place on the internet. If you want to get in a Discord and come hang out with the 4 of us, go on over to Patreon, search up Polymedia, and jump into the Discord. Josh, where can I find you?
You can find me on the Discord as well. But also you can find me, Josh Leslie, on Blue Sky and my other podcast, which is with our buddy Chris, Scotch and Hobbies. It's called The Monthly Mishap, where we talk about movies and just fun entertainment stuff. Sometimes books, sometimes D&D, which we'll be talking about soon, which Seth joined us for our D&D session. That was fun. So yeah, that's a good show. It's just a nice just kind of catch up every month, talking about some fun movies we're watching. So I think that's going to do it for our main part of our show. If people are just so like skittish for spoilers for Hades, don't want to know the story, you're still working your way through it, 6 years later, go ahead and leave right now. You're going to hear a banger track from the awesome OST, and then we're going to jump back into the discussion and go a little bit more in depth with the story and go full spoilers. So we'll catch you on the other side of this song.
That's almost a spoiler in itself, really.
Yeah. Oh, story's good though, guys. You know? Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty good.
I liked it.
Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, you get out, you're battling through the pits of hell as Hades, or not as Hades, as Zagreus, and then you get to fight the final boss, Papa.
Yeah.
I got one off-topic thing. Well, not story related, but speaking of Chris, it just popped in my head. He was playing this game, like he said, "Oh, I'm going to try Hades," and I was like, "Oh God, he's gonna hate it," because like a lot of roguelikes he hasn't enjoyed, and I was just prepared for the hate to come. But all of a sudden, he's posting screenshots. Oh, run 1, run 2, run 3. I think he got all the way to the real ending. And
really
seemed to like it. Yeah,
that's awesome.
So, we didn't even talk about God mode. I used God mode a little bit for a couple of my in between runs because I was like, I want to get to that 10 run. So I was like, I'll just throw on God mode for a couple of rounds here just to kind of grease the wheels, get a little bit of extra, buff going on. But that's always a nice accessibility thing that they added.
I remember very early on, I remember Pam saying that she had used God mode, and it's like, whatever. I mean, especially if you've won a run and it's like, okay, I want to see the ending, then do what you got to do. I don't know if achievements are like.
I don't think it affects anything.
It doesn't.
You can still get all the achievements. Like your run screen looks the same. I think
that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just has that big God mode logo on it. If you don't want that God mode logo, you're cheating a little bit. But no, I mean, it really, the main thing it does is it just gives you like a 20% to start, I think. Little extra shield on your guy. So you just can take a few more hits. So, because I would always, so for me on this go, I guess this could have been in the main pod, but whatever. I kept dying on the second phase of Hades, like stupidly, because he has that like laser beam thing. You kind of have to like hide behind the vase, so you don't get hit. And I kept screwing that up. Yeah.
Or just stand right next to him, buddy. Just get up close and personal. Give him a hug.
Get close enough, they can't hit you.
Really? I don't think I knew that.
There's like an inner radius where if you're right next to him, you could just give him a little kiss on the cheek while he does his attack.
I didn't even realize that. Man. I was just like, I just got to get behind an object, because he's shooting beams out of all his front areas. Yeah.
Hey, that attack from Hades is one of the scariest attacks when you first see it. It's like, wow, where do I go? I'm so fucked. And then when you realize the trick, he has a pretty decent windup. And then you could just dash over to one of those and you just stand there. It's the best. Like you were saying, Steve, earlier, how you can just toss out the casts if they can just like do the beams. Mm-hmm. If you've got stuff like that and you can just murder Hades from behind a wall, it feels so good because he can't do anything. Yep. I would rather do that, have him use that move all day than the stupid green hand pot things as soon as you dash through them and they grab you. Those are the worst. Yeah.
But so the story, you get through and you beat Hades, and then like you go see your mom Persephone. It's Persephone, right? That's her mom. Yeah. Okay. I was like, I thought I feel like I'm butchering that name, but maybe not. Okay. Anyway, she's up in her area. It's kind of she's the god of like greenery and like growing plants, right? Basically. So she has like this beautiful like forest and like garden area inside of like this ice biome that you come out on top of. So you see her, you have a conversation, and then you die again. And you're like, oh shit, I gotta go back up and keep talking to my mom to unlock this rest of the story and see where it goes. So,
yeah. It's basically like Zagreus is not from the surface, so he can't stay up there, and he's like, what the heck, this is bullshit, basically. Which is why, and I think it's a really cool reason for you needing to win 10 runs, because you literally only have seconds by the time you get up there before you die just from like natural causes, basically, and get sent back down. So you just have a very brief period of time where you can have a short conversation with your mom, and then you get sent back. But obviously, eventually, once you do it 10 times, then mommy comes to live with you, and all is well.
She does. She comes back and hangs out. She chastises your dad. She's like, hey, stop being so mean to your kid, all right?
He actually apologizes to Zag at the end, too. He's like, oh, I'm sorry.
He's like looking at his feet. He's all shifty. He's like, sorry.
So one of the things I can't remember, but was he just trying to escape, or did someone tell him that he needs to go to the surface because his mother's there?
I think Nyx does tell him that. Yeah.
Well, Nyx basically says, "I'm not your real mother," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. She like Nyx was aware of the situation, aware of where Persephone was, and she sort of just plants the seed in Zagreus' head, like, "I'm not your real mom," you know. Probably out there if you go looking for her.
And that's what triggers him to be like, I want to go up, escape. Yeah.
No, sorry, I just did the ending because no worries. Sorry. He has a thing he keeps saying that Nyx told him at the beginning of the game was, you'll come out to an icy area and then you follow the cliffside to go into the greenery, and then there will be somebody there that you need to speak with. Which he figures out himself that, hey, that's my mom that she's talking about, you know. So
it's funny if you think about it, and I think a lot of people have kind of spoken to this over the years of like playing through Hades and getting as much story as possible. There's really only one god that actually has Zag's best interest at heart, and that's Nyx. Other than Persephone, I guess. And Hades. I mean, Hades, I think Hades, the funny thing about the whole game is that Hades is not nearly as bad as you think he is as you play through. You're like, this dude's an evil piece of shit. He's a bad dad. I don't like him. Like, I need to get out of here. And it turns out Hades was kind of always knew that you couldn't go there, and that's why he's like, just stop. And he doesn't know how to. He's like Ron Swanson or whatever. Yeah. Like, he doesn't know how to.
Or like Red Foreman.
Yes, he doesn't know how to love. Like, he's Hades. But, he never had. It was never like bad intentions. But Nyx, like, it's super interesting to learn that all the other gods are really helping you for their own benefit, not for Zagreus' benefit. Really. So Hades was really kind of more righteous in his effort than any of them were the entire time. And Nyx was the only one that was like, you need to go there because there's someone you need to see. Which that, I think, is like the real through line that makes the story so good, right? Is like, Hades was never an evil piece of shit. He was just didn't know how to communicate. And Nyx was like a really good non-biological mother, right? Like, mother figure.
Yeah, I think the worst you could say about Hades, other than that he's rude, is that basically he's like, I don't want to deal with the drama. He's like, Persephone's up there. They don't really know she's up there. If she becomes visible, they're all going to be like, what the heck's going on? It's going to be a whole big thing. You know how Zeus is. And so it's like, can you just, let sleeping dogs lie? And then obviously you don't. But then he's like, yeah, you were probably right. You probably should have met your mom. That's a good call. And I do like the kind of goofy story conceit that after that is complete, Hades is like, basically names you the securities are, and he's like, all right, I need you to keep trying to break out to test our defenses, and when you get to the top, I'll come fight you as if I'm still mad at you, but I'm not mad, it's fine.
The conversations that you have with Hades in that boss fight are some of the best after you've actually escaped enough times. Like, it's just like, oh, here we are again, doing the same old thing. It's so funny.
So you ready to go down again, old man?
Yep.
There's a good one. If you get all the way to him but don't have any boons, like you don't pick up a single boon or you get rid of all your boons, there's like special dialogue. He basically, I wrote it down. He says, "Odd, no stink of Olympus on you this time. Have you truly come all this way without assistance from your relatives?" And they go on from there.
Oh, that's sick.
Pretty cool.
Oh man, that would not be easy.
That'd be tough.
Yeah,
that's a rail one right there. There's like I can't remember which one it is, but there's one where like if you like reload, if you reload, your first shot is like empowered. Like that's an aspect. Yeah. So if you just shoot once and reload, like it does a ton of damage, and you can just go through the game just with that without any boons on that. So
that makes sense. Yep.
Interesting. Honestly, though, that's not even the end of the story. Like, even after Persephone gets back down and you kind of like the family is back together, like it plays the credits and then like game over. Good job, buddy. And then you can keep playing, and there's like a whole epilogue long storyline about like basically like politicking and inviting all the Olympic gods down for dinner and like inventing this made up story about why she's here so that everyone like. You kind of get the sense that it's one of those things where they know that it's a bunch of BS, but they're all just kind of being like, if we all just go along with this, everybody can have minimum drama and we can move on with our lives. Mm-hmm. And that goes on for like another 5-10 hours. Like there's just more story beyond that.
It's truly probably one of because you can, like we should have mentioned this in the main episode. It takes the average person, I don't know, 20 to 30 hours to beat Hades probably after you complete all 10 runs.
Yeah. But it took me 25 hours this time. Last couple of weeks, just kind of playing a run here and there between stuff. 25 hours, and I've had experience, but it's been 6 years, like I said. So
yeah.
But you've got probably double that in post game content. Like the game is you're scratching the surface after you beat it, right? It's wild.
And again, all the gods fill with new dialogue and interactions about the post game. Like there's just so much dumping. I mean, you don't even start the like social link relationship with your mom until the post game, and there's like a whole storyline for that too. So it's the game that never stops.
And she gets new underworld duds. It's so cool how she goes from being like pure Persephone to being queen of hell basically again. So it's funny.
There's also just something very charming about her being just like normal human sized, and Hades being this like lumbering oaf man who's like got to be 15 feet tall.
Yeah. You get to start going into Hades' room. Those are good spoilers too, right? Being able to go into Hades' room and like see, because you never were able to go in there before, but now you get to go in there and see that he's always had a picture of Persephone on his like nightstand, like stuff like that. Like it's touching, endearing.
Yeah, I remember I was talking to you guys about this game. It's like, oh yeah, we're going to review this at some point, and Seth kept saying, it's worth doing the 10 runs, Josh. Do it. It was worth it. Yeah, so I'm very glad I did. Like I said, I think I'm going to go ahead and shelve the game. I know, but because I want to play 2. But I'm going to watch and look up all the storyline for the ending, because that sounds very interesting to know what happens there. So
yeah, it's really fun. And the thing I always say to people about the 10 runs to get like the proper ending, they come pretty fast.
Yeah, like
once you get your first victory, you probably are going to end up being at like a 50-50 win rate at that point moving forward, if not more. Like I think from my first run to my 10th run, there was maybe only like 3 or 4 deaths in there. You get into a real rhythm with it, and you like, your passives have built up to a point where you're like, all right, I could pretty easily clear this now. Plus, there's just so much to be said about knowing the Hades boss fight attacks. Like once you know what he's going to do, you're probably pretty well set. If anything, the opposite happens, where you start getting annoyed that every third of his health he has this invulnerability phase for a while, and you're like, this is making the fight take forever.
Yeah.
Could you please just drop the shield so I can chunk another 30 of your health real
Or he
quick?
disappears for 5 seconds and then pops back up.
Yep.
Yep.
I can see you walking. We've done this many times.
Yeah.
And like you can also do the 10 runs without ever engaging with the heat system at all. Like, you don't even have to make it harder. You can just make it easier for yourself by using the mirror, and then just go.
I'm
do
not
whatever
super
you want.
interested in heat and stuff like that. That's just not my
Yeah.
thing. So I did mess around with it for one run, then died. So I was just like, all right, I'll just turn it off. I'm good. I'm just getting. Well, I was like, okay, Sunday's in a couple of days. Let's go ahead and do this. I did my last run literally this afternoon, like a few minutes, like 2 hours ago or something before the episode. So it's like, I saved that because I was like, all right, I want it to be fresh. Go into the podcast, So it was very rewarding. Honestly, I'm a little sad that I didn't do it back in the day and like went that extra mile, for the game and went above and beyond, because it actually would have been. I feel like I would have played that for another month or two back then. You know what I mean? Just doing runs.
And that's exactly why Steve says, yeah, I give it to you. Like, you beat it with your one run, but it's because of that feeling that you get by getting 10. Like, that boat ride down the River of Blood is so... I guess one
With
of
the music
best,
playing and everything, it's so good.
one of the best. Like, just getting back. It almost, thinking about it makes me want to just be like, I'll go start a new run. I'll do it again just so I can watch it. And it's just it feels so good. It's such a reward. But...
Yeah, I think a lot of people learn about the 10 runs, and it feels to them like the game is asking too much of them. But I never personally had that feeling, because I was just always like, give me more story. But I also, I kept doing runs after the 10 runs successful. Like, I just wanted any little bit of drip feeding of character interactions that I could get. So
I think
I guess it all just comes down to whether or not your tolerance for the game is spent by that point or not.
Yeah. Josh, talking about the heat system, like, you don't get any like upgrade like stuff like unless you start going up in heat. Like, if you've completed every weapon, like they just give you darkness or whatever.
Yeah.
But then once you go
like
up
nothing.
a heat, you get like the burning blood or whatever it is. Yeah. So it like incentivizes you to go up in heat. And I feel like the first couple heat levels, like, you can find something that's not too hard, right?
I'm just kind of like, my thought process today, this one was like, I'm getting close to the podcast. Let's just get to the end. But
Sure.
I feel like I would have messed around with it a bit more if I would have like originally did that and took the time, because I was like, oh yeah, I beat the game. Even though it didn't get credits, I beat the game back in the day, which I didn't. I'm sorry, guys. The hashtag just beat it isn't really that valid for that
there you
first,
go. Yeah.
in my opinion.
Wait, when you brought it to IndieQuest, you hadn't beat it yet?
He beat
I just
one
did
run.
the one run.
okay. I
Yeah,
see.
yeah. But we were kind of like loosely talking about it more than when we first started this podcast. I was just like trying stuff, and that was one of the things. Like, yeah, we can just throw it on there, no big deal. Yeah, that's not
Why
how we
not?
do things now anymore.
I mean, it was our game of the year that year.
Yeah.
Right? So like it was
Yeah.
it felt weird it not being on the quest log, but also we had just started the show.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that happens sometimes now. It's like, yeah.
Tunic was also our game of the year, and it is still not on the quest log, by the way. It's just...
Oh man.
We're nothing
Yeah,
if not
it should be.
consistent.
Yes. Yeah.
Who
While
knows
we're...
where I would put it?
Oh, yeah. Seriously, me too. I should bring it before you do. So the heat system, we're here now. And some of the heat is fairly spoilery, I suppose. I understand not wanting to interact with it, Josh, but I felt that there were certain heat sections that were like, oh, that seems pretty easy. Like, oh, just give all enemies an extra layer of armor at the beginning or whatever, and then you just got to hit them once. Turns out that is actually not a great thing. Like, that's a pretty tough one, because it means if you've got a very bursty build, you can't burst anything down. Like, you have to hit them once. But one of my favorite things about heat is that there is Ross will probably know this. I can't remember what it's called now. There's basically a mode that allows you to get additional boss fights You make it so
Yes.
that each of the bosses are different. And
Oh.
at first you're like, holy shit, these are way harder. Like, you have to fight the sisters all together, I think, if I recall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the Minotaur and is it Theseus?
Theseus, yeah.
Theseus.
Yeah.
They end up like he ends up like riding around on a carriage and stuff like that. Like, it gets a lot harder.
It's like a chariot with like a gun on the
chariot.
front, right? It's shooting.
Yeah.
Like missiles and Gatling
Yeah.
gun, yeah.
Just crazy.
Hades gets a third phase, which is seems like a lot because it is actually a lot. But like, there's just so much you can interact with that heat, and that's super spoilery because you're never really going to get there until you do. But it's cool.
Yeah,
it's
it's like-
cool that they did that.
It's just another layer of the variety, like we were saying earlier. It's like, let's just add more to this game. To like, I would have never known that unless you told me. Like, that's cool. That's a thing that can happen. That's awesome. I mean, even when you do like the first time you beat Hades, you go back and there's new bosses already. You know what I mean? Like, you get a new god. You
The
get,
sisters.
yeah, and then you get just a couple of new mini bosses here and there, you know, like that you never seen before. And like that, what is it, the little vermin, which is just a little rat at that last area just because it's funny.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Like that yeah, so
That's
just little
annoying.
things like that.
That's an
They-
annoying fight. I don't like
It
that.
is.
I think it's harder than Hades,
Yeah.
genuinely.
Yeah, it's pretty
Tiny
tough.
rat.
It's
It's just his
brutal.
hitbox is so small. Yeah.
The Minotaur
moves so
fight, like
fast.
what just him by himself, is actually really hard too. And like the first time I saw that, I just got destroyed. Like when I was fighting that
Yeah.
Minotaur by himself.
Especially like if you don't have multiple dashes and he's charging, it's like, dude, he goes so fast you like can't quite get away from him.
He
And
never
it
stops.
Feels
Yeah.
he never stops unless you get through a wall and he hits himself on the wall. But yeah, I genuinely feel like some of those rooms before you go to Hades and those poison enemies, oh my god, those dudes, that is such a, if you can't burst those guys down, you get poisoned, it feels so bad. Like I absolutely hate it. And then you're like, where's the spring thing? Well, I gotta go heal myself quick before I can go back out. It's like, that's where it feels really good to have deflect, right? And you can just deflect it back at those guys, then they get poisoned. But
The shield is good in that whole area because you can stand behind a pillar and shoot your shield and it bounces off walls and like goes hits all the enemies.
That's a good call. Mhm.
That's definitely the one area where I always am getting hit by the environmental hazards. Maybe it's just because I get there the least often, but I'm just not that good at it in the bigger rooms towards the end, and I get smoked a lot in that area. Or you get into a position where like you win, but you're like 2 death defies down, and then you're going into Hades all beaten and bruised, and you're like, okay, well, good luck, I guess.
Yeah, the worst feeling is having all 3 death defies or whatever, and you're there, and then you lose like 1 or 2 in that last area. You're like, crap, I made it like to the end, basically. You know?
Yep.
Yeah. You have to go through every door to find the whatever
sack.
it is, the sack.
Satyr sack.
Satyr
God.
sack, yeah.
It feels terrible.
Yes, it does. I mean, at least you get rewarded for it. Like, you get stuff, but it's never like the cost of it is never worth what you put in. Like, it's like, oh god, this is terrible.
Yeah, unless you have just the bonkers run where you're like, I'm just gonna go through every room here and get all the rewards.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's like, dude, I'm like just wrecking everybody on this run. It's like, well, I could go get some more money and we can go buy some more stuff, and that does feel good. And then you just know, like, what's the point? I'm gonna go wreck Hades anyway. So yeah, cool.
Sweet.
I think that's it. Any other spoilery comments? Anything you guys want to throw out there before we completely close out the show today? Game's awesome. I'm glad we finally got around to doing a review because it's been one of those things. It's like Hollow Knight, and you know, like we talk about it a lot. Like, we're gonna eventually review that game when we get to it.
Yeah.
You know, or like UFO 50. I know we say that one a lot too. You know, we'll get there one day.
I got a notepad document on my computer right now. It's got 10 indie games on it that are not on the quest log, but they're like top of the top,
big ones?
huge ones. I've mentioned 2 of them on this podcast.
The Witness is on there, right? I'm guessing.
Witness is on the quest log. All right.
No, it's not. The Witness isn't on the quest log.
That's
Witness is not on the quest
on
log?
my list.
Oberdin.
Oh, wow.
It's not on the
for
quest.
sure. No,
Yeah,
that's
not on the
definitely
quest
on
log.
his list.
Oberdin isn't on the quest log?
No,
Nope.
it's not on your
It's
list.
got to be on.
That's
the
not on
quest.
my
It
list.
It's not.
I'm surprised
on
it
the
isn't
quest
on
log.
your list.
Why are all my favorite games not on the quest log?
I don't think Braid's on
like-
the quest log either, is it? Oh no, you brought
Yeah,
it,
it
right,
is on-
Seth? You
yeah.
did. Yeah, Seth brought that. Yeah, Seth brought that.
No,
one.
I
That's
didn't.
right.
I didn't.
I brought it in episode 8. You don't remember episode 8, Josh?
Yeah.
How is it a different person? I've been cloned
Braid-
twice since then.
Braid was one of the games that Steve gave me for Second Opinion.
Oh,
Some months ago.
nice.
That's right. That's when you talked about it. Okay, that makes sense.
I didn't play it then. I played the lesser like Panzer Paladin, which
Panzer
7
Paladin,
people have played. Yeah. Are we playing Guess the Games that's on Ross's
No,
list?
you don't.
'Cause
No, we don't have to do that.
I would. I'd play.
I'm just gonna send an anonymous
not?
like text to the show and just say, "What is this? What is this program? It don't even have these 10 best indie games."
Slay the Spire and Binding of Isaac are both on there. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, Ross would not appreciate my placement of Binding of Isaac on the quest log.
Is that
I
like a
did.
not on there type of thing, or is it like a side quest? I'm curious on that
You
one.
can wait for the episode. Better hope I don't play it first.
You're gonna have an episode where games that you played but never brought to the quest log.
Oh, that's a good one. That's a good
that
one.
would be fun, actually.
I did the worst thing that anybody can do with Binding of Isaac, and I played it for 6 hours, got credits, and was like, cool, and moved on. And that's not the way. You should play it for 600 hours, from what I understand.
Okay.
So-
To be fair, that is what I did with Binding of Isaac. Yes.
Ah, yeah, okay.
I think that's what Trav did. He may have gotten a couple more endings, but yeah.
Yeah.
The first
Yeah,
credits
well,
aren't that bad. You just got to you just pretty much got to get lucky for that first one.
Mom's leg tries to stomp you a couple times, and you're good to go.
Yeah. It's a good game.
Good game.
Good game.
All right. Well, I guess that'll be it for the show. We're kind of fizzling out here. Thank you guys for listening. We'll put some more music. We'll go out to some more awesome Darren Korb stuff. So
Heck yeah.
hang out, listen to this last track. Thank you for sticking through the spoilers. I feel like most people did listen to the spoilers because the spoilers are pretty light. They're there, but if you know from this game for the
Yeah.
most part. So, yeah. Thank you for listening. And the next one will be Hades 2 from this little review series. But, hey, we don't have an ETA on that. We'll just get to it when we feel like it's the right time. But we'll let you guys know with plenty of notice. And, yeah, thanks for listening. See you on the next one.
See you.
Peace.
Bye.